I'm afraid that I have the belief that in politics, that there's almost always two sides to every question, at least two sides. But I have a good deal of respect for people on the other side because I realize myself what all this practice costs you, that all the good guys aren't on one side and all the other side bad guys.
The Dalton Camp Award, created by the Friends of Canadian Broadcasting to honor the memory of Dalton Camp and to encourage young Canadians to reflect on the link between democratic values and the quality of the media in Canada. We remember Dalton Camp as Canada's most famous unelected politician, as a consummate political insider, as an astute, witty, and principled political commentator, as a successful businessman, as a passionate, involved citizen. Dalton was born in 1920 in Woodstock, New Brunswick. He was marked by his experience of the Depression and then World War II, which interrupted his education. His lifelong study of the minutiae of Canadian party politics made him a unique figure, at once observer, commentator, and engaged partisan.
The one thing I think that distinguished the country in all its contemporary history has been its capacity for reconciliation. There's so little in this society that is really bigoted or in relative terms so bloody-minded. We aren't a bloody-minded people.
Dalton had that rare capacity to be a committed insider and believer in the political process, while insisting on his independence of thought and speech.
It's remarkable how politics is changing. It is. When was the last time you ever heard policy discussed when everyone was allowed in?
That's a new innovation.
Face-to-face. Confrontation.
It's a very progressive step forward.
You realize that we may never be back in the back rooms again.
He believed that political parties and democracy in general need a free airing of ideas as humans need oxygen.
Well, I don't know. It reminds me of Diefenbaker's line where someone said, "Give him hell, John." He said, "I don't give anybody hell. I just tell the truth, and it sounds like hell." And what I had to say about that issue, I think somebody had to say. And I'm not in the closed circuitry of the party system now, and I'm emancipated from the discipline of it. So I think that I ought to be able to say, and I think there's a need perhaps for somebody to say what they think.
Practicing such freedom of speech occasionally made him enemies, but it also attracted a broad and diverse following. In provoking John Diefenbaker's downfall, Dalton Camp triggered a groundbreaking moment in Canadian political history.
I believe that there should be a national leadership convention at an early date.
It was Canada's first leadership review. As president of the Progressive Conservative Party, he had helped John Diefenbaker become prime minister. But as he felt the leader become more erratic and more autocratic, Dalton championed accountability to the party.
President of the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada is Dalton Camp.
Diefenbaker lost the review vote, and he forever blamed Dalton Camp, by then busy managing the successful election of Robert Stanfield as the party's new leader. In the course of his lifetime, he would manage 27 election campaigns, run a highly successful advertising business, write 4 books and hundreds of incisive newspaper and magazine pieces. In his Toronto Star column, he never lost his appetite for controversy, though his criticism was always constructive.
I look at myself. If I were coming out of a journalism school today and wanted to practice newspapering, relatively speaking, I have 2 choices: to work for one chain or work for another chain, or maybe 3. I don't think that gives people a sense there's enough opportunity for intellectual growth, which is so essential to journalism, to people in journalism, and to have a kind of an experience with knowledge and to enjoy the benefits of skepticism.
He is perhaps best remembered for his part in the CBC Radio Weekly political panel on Morningside with Peter Zosky. It was one of Canada's most influential political forums, intelligent, civilized discourse among Dalton Camp, Eric Kierans, and Stephen Lewis. They debated the most important political issues of the day with passion, with wit, and with respect for the merit of competing opinions. The multiple dimensions of his life and career gave him knowledge and understanding which he shared generously with the public, with family and friends, and with the many young people he mentored, including future prime ministers. Dalton Camp was appointed an Officer of the Order of Canada in 1993. He was a founding member of the Advisory Council of the Friends of Canadian Broadcasting and a lifelong supporter of the CBC. This unique and good man's life has inspired the creation of the Dalton Camp Award. Friends has invited Canadians to write essays on how the media influenced democracy. The award consists of $5,000 and a bronze medal by famous Canadian artist Dora DePedri Hunt. A new generation of Canadians can now honor the memory of Dalton Camp by giving new life to his values, promoting the free flow of ideas in both media and democracy.
Do what you feel you have to do, and try and do it as well as you can, and never look back.